So in this video, it's actually in two parts. I started to explain on a walk that we were doing how and why we were thinking about like why we needed to leave our home that we're in right now. And then in the second part of the video, it's kind of an update. I'm going to share with you the houses that we looked at. That will be in a separate video before this. And this here is after that video there. So I'm going to explain the houses and why we're choosing what we want to try to go for and that type of stuff. But the first part of the video is actually me talking about the reason behind wanting to look for another. On a walk right now. I am kind of excited. We're supposed to look for, oh, if you guys have not been here before, I am Mama Bertameni. I am mom to 15 children. 13 of my children still live at home. I have 2 children that have type 1 diabetes. I have a daughter who has lupus, and then we have Azariah who has trisomy 18. We have moved from our homestead in northern Maine down to southern Maine and are renting and currently looking for a house. We have no yard, absolutely no yard at our house that we're renting. So a couple times a week I'm usually out here in nature with my children, which is beautiful. I really believe that children need to be outside. Our homestead had 36 acres. They're used to running wild and free. I'm a true believer that being outside helps your children's brain and mental development. I think that's one of the reasons that there's so much like child-led depression. They're on screens, they're not outside in nature. Anyway, I'm kind of excited. We are going to be we have looked at a lot of houses. We put it on pause for a minute. We went to do a couple things. We went to Niagara Falls, we went to Plymouth Plantation. We kind of put it on hold for a little bit. We're back now. I asked my realtor if she could, I have 6 houses lined up. We have one day that we're going to look at the 6 houses in a row, and then we will make some decisions. I never knew how much it would affect me not having land. I thought, oh, the house is big enough. That would be good enough. Where we live is very expensive for our tastes, but we need to be close enough to the hospital. So that's our main focus. Had you guys turned on before I was ready? It's difficult, guys. Okay, so not yesterday, the day before we looked at the houses. I think every state's different, but we needed to redo we did our loan application in July. So we needed to redo, it's now October. So we needed to redo our whole loan stuff, which is kind of annoying. I think it's kind of annoying because as well, because they pull your credit each time, and it's you keep pulling my credit, but yet you need good credit in order to buy a house and all these things. So it's not that it's bad, it's just kind of annoying, your credit goes down because they're pulling your credit. It's a soft pull, but still it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard to just be open and trust the Lord. It doesn't come easy to me. It's I really love this, I would want this, but I also know that the Lord knows all the ins and outs. He knows the beginning and the end and the in-between. And so if something doesn't work out, then I know that it's the Lord's will, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt sometimes. It doesn't mean that I don't have to remind myself that His ways are always best. I'm not one for begging God for what I want. And I think that some people pray that way, and I'm more the type of person who prays God's will, because that's ultimately what I want. I want God's will on my life. He can give me the desires of my heart. And I would love if He gave me the desires of my heart, but only if it's in His will. Because I know that His ways are better than my ways. So as I wait for anything, whether that's medical or the house, a lot of people say, you have really great faith. I think that faith comes from having faith. You have to exercise that muscle. You have to just say, okay, Lord, like, I'm struggling. I really want this, but I know ultimately that your will and your plan for my life is the best. So I think that when we pray that way, then God hears our prayers. He knows the desires of our heart. At the same time, it's His will. I want to be in His will because there's times in my life that I feel like I've gone my own way or forced my own way, and it doesn't turn out good. I think in another video, it's been asked a lot about like other children and stuff, and I think that it really has to do with trusting in the Lord and trusting in the Lord's will for your life. I think I'll get into it more and through scripture and such in another video if you would be interested in that. But for today, I am trying to rest in His will. I should know fairly soon. I have to drop off someone in Boston for like a Christian woman's thing. So I need to drop them off, and I'm hoping, and I asked if they could try to have it done so I could decide if we were going to make an offer on anything beforehand. We're interested mainly in one house, which would be the big house. We're also okay and semi-interested in the other house, which would be the last house that we saw, for a couple reasons. So we feel that both of those houses, if we put work into them, if we ever needed to resell those houses, then we'd probably get our value in resale, right? So we wouldn't be like caught short, even if the market decided to trend down, because if we put the money into it, then we would be okay. So we're kind of looking at that when we're purchasing something. And so I think that the house that was really all done and nice, it was all done and nice, but I don't know that if we were to live there, if the one that I kind of went through quickly, if we were to live there, I don't know that we would be able to build up the value enough that if we ever decided to move, then we would get our money back. There's also something that's in that same city, but further away. Like a lot of cities right now, sadly, there's a huge homeless population there, and that's it's very tragic, especially when it's circumstances not beyond people's abilities, right? So I find that I feel like we need to do something about it, as a bigger society, as a church, as a, I feel like we need to help people more. And yeah, that could be a whole nother thing. Anyway, anyhow, that said, that city is starting to get like a reputation for having like homeless people. So if you have an investor coming in from out of state or somebody coming in from out of state, they're not going to know the areas that are good, the areas that are bad. They're just going to be like, oh, that's that city I don't want to live in. And that's kind of actually how I felt at first when we first moved here, is I had heard, and I drove through like the part that was like downtown area, just like most cities, downtown areas are not the most beautiful. And so I was like, if this is this. But then I went, I've been doing some stuff, choir and some other things like on other parts of the town. And it's like, oh, this is a cute little area. And like the place that we looked at, it was a really nice neighborhood, like an upscale neighborhood. Old, historic type houses, big barns, just big, like beautiful places. So nothing to say about that area. I'm just saying, like, for if we ever were to move and for resale, that would be something that we. So those are just our thoughts on things. The first house is more expensive. Don't know if we'll get approval for that. It's difficult when you know the way that you live and you know the amount that you can afford to pay. Both places, if we were to buy them, their mortgage, the cost of the mortgage would be like at what we're paying roughly right now for rent. So I know that we have physically been able to do that, and also like have money where we just, you know, like we're trying to like save and whatever. So are things tight, or could, like, am I making things tight in order to get the savings? Yes. That said, like, I know if we're like, if you're already paying like this for rent, why not pay it on something that you're going to own, right? Like, that's our thoughts and opinions. But they don't look at it like that. And so there's also some things where like my income is low, and so to have me on the mortgage application, it's helpful a little bit because I have the income, yet my credit is really bad because my debt income ratio is not good because my name is on everything as well. My husband's debt has like credit score of like 800 something. I don't even know. He has a really good credit score because his debt income ratio is decent, and we have an excellent, like, we don't pay our bills late. We've paid off numerous loans. We've, you know, done all those types of things. So it looks really good. And mine should look good if my name wasn't on everything because I just don't have the income. That's how it works out. I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't just like go together and whatever. It's totally weird. But the guy who is doing it, like running our numbers now, seemed very informed. Also, the other lady before was saying that we should really go with an FHA, and he gave us like the whole scenario of like FHA versus conventional loan, which was really, really helpful, because there is some like additional fees with FHA, and these are the benefits, and these are the this house, both of the houses that we're interested in, actually all the houses would not be FHA qualified. So even though like if you have an FHA loan, you can go higher. Like if we were to do this and say it was an FHA approved property, then we would have no issue because we already know that it would go higher for an FHA. That said, if I were to get an FHA approved property, it's also going to be $150,000 more for a house that would be like that, and we're totally capable and able to do work on things. And I honestly really like older houses. I like the character. I like the way the rooms are bigger. I don't know. I don't like the newy feeling. And I know lots of people here are probably like, why would you not want a new house? I just don't like it. I love history. I love like even thinking like, oh, families, you know, years ago lived in this house. So it's just me, just our personal preference. We both are kind of like that, although he says that he would really like a newer house, and then every time we walk into a house that's fairly newer, he's like, I don't like it. So he's like, and we both really like this one property, and we're okay with the second property as well. We're just trying to see like, what do we want to do? The problem with the second property is it will need a roof, and we don't know how soon it will need a roof. And we also need to go to the town because some improvements were made on the house that were not I'm not zoned. I don't know the word. I forget the word because it's not something that we had to deal with up north. They didn't get like a prior license approval before they made the improvement. So we'd have to check with the town hall on what that means on our end as we purchase the property before we decided to make a payment. Yes.
I was gonna say, maybe could we use the walkie-talkies? All of them are charged. Isaac said to me before.
Maybe after lunch. She got walkie-talkies for her birthday, so now she wants to use them. It's raining outside.
We could do it upstairs.
You could do it upstairs, but let's eat lunch first. So that's where we're at with that. I just wanted to update you. I thought you could come along for this journey. I'm hoping this journey has a beautiful ending, but who knows? Who knows? Only the Lord. Anyhow, sharing with you guys. Gonna go get lunch for them. Hope y'all have a blessed and wonderful day.